Yo, this is Jay from Straight Smoke Gaming, and in today's video, we are doing another one of these NFL offseason reviews. This video, we're going to be focusing here on the AFC South. That gives you the Colts, Jags, Texans, and Titans. Pretty competitive division here. I feel like all of these teams, minus the Titans, are kind of all on the same level or trending in the right direction. So we're going to go ahead and talk about projected records and key adds. So let's go ahead and get that started here with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So starting off here with the key adds for the Jaguars, I have Brian Thomas Jr., the first-round pick. They went ahead and signed Darnell Savage and Ronald Darby, giving them a projected record of 10-7. The Jags, they're weird. I was sold on Trevor Lawrence, but I'm not anymore. Last year was really, really not improving, which you would like to see from a quarterback of his age. But, they have pieces around him, so I could see the Jaguars doing a little bit better than a 10-7 record. But, based on competing with the Texans, the Colts are trending upward. I have them going 10-7. I would say that this is a really competitive division, so there's no cakewalk for any team really in this division. So talk about Brian Thomas here. He's important because you kind of wanted to replace Calvin Ridley, although Calvin Ridley was still not what you were expecting him to be last year. You still do you do get another wide receiver to replace him. They also went and signed Gabe Davis. If Gabe Davis does a lot better with Jacksonville than he did with the Bills, that would be another key add here. We do try to keep it to 3 though, so that's why he didn't make the list. Ronald Darby, he's a solid secondary player. Same with Darnell Savage, another solid secondary player. You can never have too much depth back there in the secondary. Feels like corners and safeties are always getting hurt, and they got some guys that if you need them to start, they can give you some good weeks. If you need them to be a replacement, they're a really good replacement. So I do like what the Jags did here this offseason. They really focused on keeping the guys that they needed to keep. I believe Evan Ingram got a new contract. That was an important one. But overall, the Jags as a team, I feel like they're trending in the right direction. So they got a 10-7 record. Next up, we have the Indianapolis Colts. Talking about key adds here. Liatu Latu, their first-round pick. Pretty good edge rusher. He's one of the more project edge rushers in the draft. He wasn't like the guy that's going to go in and dominate. He's a project, but if you can make him good, then you got a good one on your hands. Joe Flacco, I'll talk about that one a little bit here in a minute. And then Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver. He was a second-round pick, pretty good wide receiver. I have them going 8-9. So going back up to the key adds here with Joe Flacco, I think Joe Flacco is going to fit in well with the Colts as a mentor for Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson, he lost pretty much most of his rookie season due to injury. So I view this more of like he's still a rookie because he played, I think it was like maybe 6 games. I'm not sure exactly, but I know he missed most of his rookie season. So that's why I have them going 8-9, and they're not on the same level as the Jaguars, just because I'm not 100% sold on Anthony Richardson not being a rookie anymore. He does not have much experience, but Joe Flacco is going to be a good mentor that you can have back there for Anthony Richardson if he has any questions, a good guy to go to. And, if you need him to step in because of injury, we've seen what he did with the Browns. He's more than serviceable as a backup. For Adonai Mitchell, I think he's going to fit in well there with that wide receiver room. Now you got Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, and Adonai Mitchell. Your 4, you have Alec Pierce. So I do really like that wide receiver room. I think that's going to help Anthony Richardson a lot, having good, big, fast guys at the wide receiver position. But overall, there's just a lot of question marks with this team, mainly at quarterback. I do think Richardson will be good. I'm just not sold on him being like what C.J. Stroud was last year just because of some of the lack of experience. Next up, we got the Houston Texans. Houston Texans had a really good offseason here, adding guys like Stephon Diggs, Joe Mixon, Danielle Hunter. I still only have them going 10-7 just because it is a hard division. If Anthony Richardson does take the steps and is a lot better than I'm anticipating, hey, now you got another team that can compete with you, not just the Jaguars. But talking about key adds here, they traded for Stephon Diggs from the Bills. They did not give up much for him, so now you just gave C.J. Stroud another weapon to an already loaded wide receiver and tight end room. Nico Collins, Tank Dell, now Stephon Diggs, and even at tight end, you got Dalton Schultz. The running backs, you upgrade your running back from Devin Singletary to Joe Mixon, and if Damian Pierce can figure it out and get back to what he was his rookie year, that's a good two-headed monster you got back there in the running game. And then Danielle Hunter on the defense side of the ball, you're putting another good edge rusher, a veteran edge rusher, on the opposite side of Willie Anderson. I think that's good because it's going to relieve some pressure off of him, and you're also putting a veteran edge rusher back there to kind of help him. Will Anderson's good, but he still is going into his second year, so there might still be some struggles, and you can never have too much information for you, especially when you're a young player. So I do really like the Houston Texans additions here. I think the Texans might honestly end up having a better record than the Jaguars, but just to kind of keep it fair, I would not be surprised if the Jaguars won it. I would not be surprised if the Texans won it. I mean, it kind of one another question that comes to mind here with the Texans is C.J. Stroud going to take any steps back? We've seen what he did his first year. Are we going to see him keep trending upward and getting better, or are we going to see a little bit of a sophomore slump? So there's a lot of questions around the Texans, but I have them going 10-7. Lastly, we have the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans, they kind of had a sneaky good free agency, adding L'Jarius Sneed, Calvin Ridley, and Tony Pollard. I have them with a projected record of 4-13. I'll go ahead and talk about why. First, talk about the key adds. You got L'Jarius Sneed, good corner. I feel like Titans defense has been struggling for a while, other than Jeffrey Simmons. So getting a guy like L'Jarius Sneed is going to be a good piece, especially in the secondary. Adding Calvin Ridley, they always kind of struggled with wide receiver, if we're being honest here. They have DeAndre Hopkins, but DeAndre Hopkins is older. Not saying Calvin Ridley's young, but I think those two together will make it a lot easier for Will Levis. And then Tony Pollard, he's no Derrick Henry, but he's a pretty good backup. But based on what we've seen him do last year, definitely not what he was doing when Zeke was there with him. So that's why I have them going 4-13. I just feel like there's a lot of question marks around this team. Are they going to be able to replace the production Derrick Henry had? Are they going to be able to switch more to a little bit more of a balanced offense rather than running it? Is Will Levis really the guy? So I just feel like there's a lot of question marks. They also got a first-year coach, so you got some of these guys learning a whole new system, especially Will Levis, the rookie, or not rookie, he was a rookie last year, so second year, but he's learning a whole new offense. So there's just a lot of question marks around the Titans. I definitely feel like out of the three teams in their division, they are the last one. So I do think they're going to have a hard time competing with some of these teams and, competing with other games that are like out of division against better teams than them. So I do think the future is bright for the Titans, especially if Will Levis is the guy. But, they've just wasted so many picks on offensive linemen. Don't be wrong, offensive line is good, but their last two picks have been on an offensive lineman. They're not really adding any young key pieces. They are aging a little bit. So they're doing all right. They're just not on the same trajectory as these other teams in the division that are a lot younger. But that's my take on the AFC South. Go ahead and comment down below. Let me know what you think of these teams. Let me know if I missed any key adds. Let me know what you think of the records. I mean, these are all subjective. You could have a different opinion than me, and I like reading your opinion. So if you do, go ahead and leave a comment down below. I'll try to respond to you. Go ahead and check in the description. We'll have the other videos that we did for this linked. But that's all we got in this video. So if you enjoyed, please remember to like and sub for more Madden content, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.